I also saw Ryan Divish tweet the other day, an interesting guy that I haven't heard of before, but he said that reliever Tyson Miller.
SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RooftopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. He's not going to miss the season, but will miss opening day. Same with Gregory Santos. Unfortunately, he is going through the same thing. And Jackson Kowar, we saw, got that Tommy John surgery, which is devastating because he was performing very well in spring training, and it looked like that he was going to take that spot, and it looked like it was going to work out well with the Jared Kelenic trade. But now, unfortunately, the Mariners, as of now, have traded Jared Kelenic for two Mariners prospects or two Mariners pitchers, one of them a prospect. Now has both of them are having Tommy Johns. Mariners did recently sign someone, Ryan Stanek, out of the Houston Astros, so maybe some World Series experience may help. Gentlemen, like, what are your thoughts on this Mariners bullpen? And
Yeah, it's not what you want to see at the start of heading into the season with Matt Brash, arguably your most valuable bullpen guy aside from Justin Topa last year. He's going to start the year on the IL. Also, Gregory Santos, the big arm that you just acquired. There was, word that he ended last season with a small injury. They just kind of took him out, and it wasn't anything serious. But I'm curious if it's some of that and some of just the natural fatigue coming into the season. But those are two guys that obviously you're going to be relying on this year. So hopefully they're pitching in April. Based on Depoto's comments, it sounds like they both realistically will be pitching in April. They're progressing with their throwing programs. Well, Santos was just shut down again, but Brash is progressing with his throwing program. And then you add in, Ryan Stanek. We thought it was because of the Jackson Kowar news, but they might have started to see, the Matt Brash Santos stuff and started to act accordingly. So you add Ryan Stanek, another one of those high leverage guys that has experience in the playoffs and the World Series in years past. And I mean, I made a video on the Mariners bullpen being the most valuable this year. Then you add Ryan Stanek to it. You replace Jackson Kowar, who has high upside but hasn't been proven in the big leagues, had an inflated ERA and all these metrics, and you replace him with a proven guy. So I mean, it's a big add, and the Mariners bullpen still looks fantastic.
Trident's you.
Yeah, I feel like every time we got Couch on, I'm just like, yeah, pretty much echo everything he said there. But I mean, really, it is spot on with everything that Couch GM said there. And obviously, like listen, losing Brash and Santos stinks, and I'm always nervous with pitcher injuries with their arms, just because it starts out small and then it can just escalate. I'm not trying to doom and gloom it or anything, but I'm very much like, until I see them on the mound, I'm nervous. I was nervous last year with Munoz when he was out, that it's going to turn into something, like with Robbie Ray, it was going to be a few weeks and then it's TJ and then the season's over. So I always get very nervous with pitching injuries just because it's such a violent throwing motion, especially for guys like Brash with the sliders and everything, and Santos as well. I still think the bullpen's pretty solid. To Couch's point, like you add Ryan Stanek, and whether it was, like I said, because the Kowar injury, or just, I think it was just a little bit of everything. I think it was, they knew Kowar was going to be out. Santos and Brash not going to be ready for opening day. I mean, after Munoz, you're looking at, Trent Thornton, Gabe Spire, who are solid pitchers. Thornton to me is kind of an underrated guy. Gives up the long ball a little bit, but good strikeout to walk ratio. And now you add Ryan Stanek, and like Couch said, he's been in the postseason. He's pitched in high leverage spots. So you've got a guy with good experience, which is, I don't put like a ton of stock in that. Talent is talent, but in a bullpen with, relying on Carlos Vargas and some of these guys, Thornton, who was solid last year, but wasn't here the whole year. It is nice to have a veteran in there that I think can come into some of these high leverage situations, especially early on, because we know how managers are early in the season. They're going to rely on the veteran guys. Stanek's probably going to be the 8th inning guy, Munoz the 9th, or however Scott wants to do it. And it's going to give guys like Vargas, Thornton, Spire definitely proved himself last year as well, but give these guys a chance to pitch 6th, 7th inning. And then maybe if they, prove that they can handle it, they can take more high leverage spots as well down the road. I think the bullpen's still fine, but definitely want Santos and Brash back because it went from legit, like Couch said, like best bullpen in baseball, in my opinion, to now, you got a little, it gets a little trickier. It's a little trickier now. Still a lot of upside in the bullpen, though, I think.
Yeah, definitely the upside. And things that make me nervous about the injuries is like we saw Munoz. I think you may have said it already, but yeah, Munoz had that injury last year, and he just wasn't that 2022 Andres Munoz. And now I'm nervous about Matt Brash and Santos. Maybe they won't be the guys that we are hoping for. Like, because I thought that Matt Brash, if he was healthy, he was going to even take it to the next level and hopefully not be the streaky Matt Brash that we saw last season, where he started the season with 5 something ERAs. But then when I looked at those games, when I saw Matt Brash give up those hits, I realized, oh, he just gave up the fluky Texas leaguer that literally no one is going to catch. Like
It was the BABIP. He was BABIP to death in April.
Yeah, he was. And then he finally figured it out towards the end of the season. I finally admitted that he was actually our best pitcher in the bullpen last season. So I'm definitely going to miss him deeply, but at least if he misses just April, hopefully it could be looked at as he gets a little bit more fresh going later in the season. Mariners have an opportunity to experiment whoever has been in the spring training, hopefully to see who can actually contribute, which begs the question of who do you guys think could take those last 1 or 2 spots? Like names like Carlos Vargas has shown up there. And when I look at the depth chart, they're saying that Austin Voth is the other guy. Like, has anyone got ideas of like who could be the last 2? I mean, at this point, maybe Vargas does get that shot, maybe reluctant because I looked at his numbers. He's quite a streaky guy.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, Vargas makes sense. Both probably will get the start or will have a spot just because of the injuries to start. And I heard that he also doesn't have any other minor league options. So they either have to release him or have him start on the major league roster, which is likely to be the case. He'll be the long relief guy in the, non-leverage situations. I also saw Ryan Divish tweet the other day, an interesting guy that I haven't heard of before, but he said that reliever Tyson Miller has impressed the Mariners with how much he's embraced their pitching input. A lot of similarities to Paul Sewald in terms of arm slot and pitch profile. On Ryan Divish's Twitter, it shows a video of him throwing a bullpen, Tyson Miller. He's got like a leg kick, and then he comes out of that lower arm slot like Paul Sewald. He averaged 91 with the fastball, so also with the lower, velocity and the slider. We'll see if he actually logs any innings, but it's an intriguing name. Realistically, though, yeah, both Thornton, Carlos Vargas now has a better opportunity.
Yeah, hopefully Vargas can carry that good vibes only torch because he was off that Eugenio Suarez trade. So hopefully he can step up on that. And Trident, you got any thoughts on what you've seen on spring training of who you think can take those last 2 spots just to at least stall time for Brash and Santos?
Yeah, for sure. Voth, obviously, Couch said he's out of options or something, like they can't option him, so he'll make it. He signed a major league deal, so especially now with some of the injuries, he'll be in there. But I think again, Moore's like a long guy. I don't think he's going to pitch too many high leverage spots. Vargas, who I don't think Vargas was on the fence. I think they love the stuff. It's been very inconsistent so far in spring. You see moments where you're like, this guy's unhittable. Then you see other moments where he's just going to walk guys and give up. You know what I mean? So it's back and forth there, but Vargas will make it. Thornton will make it. We haven't talked about Saucedo. He'll be in there. Spire, Stanek, Munoz, and maybe one other. I saw that Divish article as well. I didn't know about Tyson Miller either, so you guys aren't alone on that one. I think he pitched today, actually. Maybe not. I don't know. There's always a few names that I don't remember. And then trying to think of anybody else. Casey Lawrence looked pretty good as kind of a starter. I imagine he's probably going to be in Tacoma as sort of another swingman, almost kind of like what they had with Luke Weaver last year would be my guess on that. So I don't think he'll make it, but he's looked pretty good in spring. I don't put a ton of stock into spring, but it's always nice when guys pitch pretty well. In fact, I think someone mentioned Lawrence in the comments there. So, and there's a bunch of other guys that I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about. Jonathan Diaz looked pretty good when I saw him a couple times. I don't know if they optioned him yet or not, or if he's still hanging around the major league camp. I know Kirby Snead was sent to minor league camp today. So there's always a few other names down there, but I think the names we've rattled off here will be the primary options. And then when Brash and Santos come back, those things always work themselves out. Someone else will be hurt. Someone will suck. They'll make that work.
Yeah, those are good points. And to answer the question about Tyson Miller, let me double check and make sure it is Tyson Miller because it just says T Miller. And it was Tyson Miller. He pitched 2 full innings with 2 strikeouts against the offensive power-hungry Los Angeles Dodgers. So maybe that will catch the attention. So maybe it might be Tyson Miller and Carlos Vargas. And I would think Carlos Vargas will probably he'll probably be more the garbage time guy if Mariners are either winning big or losing big.